welcome Mr. Lodia. Good to see you again. And thank you very much for showing the interest in terms of the parliamentary committee work that we actually do. And thanks for always coming and showing up in Nadi to actually give your submission with regards to the bills that we try to bring out to the public so that they can give their input. Before us today, we have two bills. Our first one is bill number 3, which is basically heritage bill, and bill number 5 of 2022, which is investment PG bill. Heritage bill, we have been actually going out. We just need to actually domesticate the 1972 convention that PG is a signatory to. So basically PG signed and became a party to the convention in 1990. That was on 21st November 1990. So this is the last puzzle that is actually left. Basically the last piece of the puzzle. So once we actually domesticate the heritage bill and pass it and make it an act, we can actually see the better management of our heritage sites, those that are listed, those that are tentative, and those that are potential heritage sites. So basically there are a couple of parts in heritage bill, basically 9 parts. So first part is basically about the objective. Second part is formation of Fiji Heritage Council. Third part is accounts and finances. Fourth part is the Fiji register, the establishment of register where all this listing is going to go. Following that, we have part 5, management of potential world heritage spaces. Part 6 is the world heritage listing itself. Part 7 is the funds for the Heritage Council, and part 8 is talking about buffer zone, whereas part 9 is about regulation and guidelines. Next, looking at the investment bill, that will be bill number 5 of 2022. So you might be aware that in June last year, the Parliament of Fiji passed the Investment Act. So we need a strong secretariat or office to look after a particular act and to implement the process that are part of the act and to see the objective of that particular act is achieved. So we needed to actually modify the investment Fiji office itself because the act is quite old. I think backdating in 1980 sometimes. So we have actually come up with the new investment Fiji bill, and there are 4 parts to it. First part being the objective and the interpretation. Second part would be the investment Fiji itself, the office of the investment Fiji, the mandate, the functions, the board, the meetings of the board, functions of the board, CEOs and subcommittees. Part 3 is basically on accounts and finances. And part 4 is basically about the regulations, the directions by the ministers and so forth. If we just look at the objective of the bill itself, so the objective of this act are to set out the mandate and function of the investment Fiji for the implementation of investment and export promotion strategies in close collaboration with ministry, which are aimed at increasing domestic and foreign investment in Fiji and increasing the exports for Fiji's development. So previously when we actually used to talk about investment Fiji, most of the focus was on the foreign investors, but now the mandate is changing. Now they actually need to ensure that they place the same amount of focus on the domestic investors as they are doing with the foreign investors. And the other thing very important with regards to the investment Fiji, one of their functions is to promote collaboration with the domestic business by setting up an effective investor linkage program. So what we would like to actually see is through this particular bill becoming an act, that the investment Fiji actually tries to work both with the foreign and the local investors in getting them in some kind of collaboration and partnership so that we can have a joint investment in Fiji. So in very nutshell, that is what the investment CG bill is all about. So now we can actually open the floor. If you have any queries or comments that you'd like to do with regard to the two bills that are before us, then you are most welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. My name is Chandru Gloria, and I'm a businessman based in Nadi. And I had a brief look at the building in front of us. And well, regulations are left to be made. I guess that will be done later on. But the objectives of the bills are quite clear and explicit. What it's supposed to do, and we've been talking about this investment climate in Fiji for a long time, and I think I also note the chair has just stated that it's not only foreign investors, but also local investors and the collaboration with the foreign investors that are of equal importance. Now, investment is a very, very important area for the development of Fiji. Investment basically means doing an economic activity now for the returns in the future. And that creates employment, and for that, I think, Chair of the committee, the climate for investment, a robust climate to attract. And I would firstly state about the foreign investors. Any foreign investor who wants to invest in Fiji, who has no knowledge about Fiji, who has absolutely nothing, and they see, all right, what are the incentives, what are the economic and political climate we are working in, and they're very important when you deal with foreign investments. So an investor will look around all the possible countries they can invest in, and they look at political stability, they look at the legal framework, they look at the support they get from the people. And I guess to that end, it's very important this particular board must work with the other agencies within the government and say, listen, this is what foreign investors want, and advise them, listen. And just an example, a rule of law enforcement of contracts and all that, they're very important checklists for any investor who may wish to invest in Fiji. The tax regimes must be clear and must not be sort of changed ad hoc. You know, today, now you have it, now you don't. That sort of puts off investors. And Fiji, as a country, developing country, needs foreign direct investment, what we call the FDI, to support the investment and the development of the country. They're very important aspect. And they must be allowed, of course, the laws must be very clearly laid out. You can't go and encroach into other people's property rights must be respected. All sorts of things must be laid out to them. And then here, the enforcement. They should be very clearly defined. They should not be made like through connections. And Fiji is, I'll be very honest and frank, Mr. Chair, that Fiji has got a reputation of who are well connected. And sometimes, and when I talk to, I travel quite a lot, and I talk to investors. There was a case recently when someone was trying to sell off a very substantial tourism development, and I was talking to, and he asked me, he said, look, can we find somebody? And I was talking to these people who were basically floating investors. They've got no loyalty to one country. They say, all right, Fiji, okay, no, we don't want to touch it. Why? We don't know. Today, this is the law, tomorrow the law changes. Just like that. and say, look, we don't want to change. We don't, today, we invest money, we may want to take it away, a few years, sell off to somebody else. Today we are allowed, tomorrow we may not be allowed. So, too much of risk for us. We'll go to a country where the framework is quite clear and well defined, and they don't change. Well, there might be legitimate reasons for change, domestic reasons, but that does not appease a foreign investor. So I think, Chair, the comment you made, local investment, that's fine. But I think we as a country must also actively seek out genuine, bona fide foreign investors. And to my memory, I don't think Fiji has had a decent investment in this country, a decent investor, when I say substantial bona fide investments. The other point I want to make is there are a lot of our former citizens, former residents who have emigrated, they've done well, the so-called baby boomers have done well, the children are well settled, and they got surplus money. They want to come back here, bring back their savings and invest in Fiji because they feel Fiji is their homeland and they're very comfortable with the environment, social environment, and have connections with the people here. And they are a very important source of investors, investment in the country. They should be explored and they should be make them feel welcome. And what are the things that stops them? Because they have achieved a certain age level is the health care. And these are so-called retirees who put in money, employ people, and healthcare is kind of something that worries them. Should anything happen, what would they do? Where would they go? And I think the investment being in Fiji should also liaise with the health department and say, listen, we gotta have. Look, I'm sure, I know that the government is working very hard towards this, and also for local people. But then again, we are looking at foreign investors. There are a lot of people out there who want to come back, retire, and put in money, develop properties, develop businesses. They have accumulated know-how, doing things better, and healthcare is something that is worrying them all the time. So, Chair, if investment Fiji should have a look, and I think the objectives of the bill are quite. Look, I must say they're very much theoretical right now, unless they are implemented to achieve the right objectives. They will be just a piece of paper line. I'm sorry to say that, but this is going to happen. We have seen many investment Fiji bodies come up, and I think to some extent we have not succeeded to attract genuine investors in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those comments. With regard to the bill itself, yes, I totally agree with the fact that once this bill becomes an act, we have a lot to be done as far as investment Fiji is concerned. They have a lot to be done. Definitely, we need foreign investors to flow into Fiji. That's one of the major concerns in order for the development of the country. And with regards to the healthcare, yes, the government of the day is trying to do its utmost through the triple P approach for Latoka and Bar hospitals, so that we can actually start getting some treatments that are not available in Fiji. And that will actually definitely attract the investors, the group of investors that we are actually talking about, knowing that if anything happens in Fiji, they do have health facilities over there in Fiji to actually cater for the needs. So thank you once again. Thank you very much for the comments and your views with regards to the bill. Thank you, sir. นะครับ